Mario with MIA Microflight. Today is Tuesday, August 19, 2025. Do not throw away your old bandsaw blades. And I'll show you in this video what you can do with this and how you can recycle and repurpose these for some very useful and inexpensive tools that you can build for die cutting, cardboard, plastics, fabric. You know, these are a couple of steel rule dies that are done with your typical steel rule material, which is steel basically with a sharp edge here. You can buy this in from steel rule companies that sell steel rule supplies and equipment. But why buy this when you can repurpose some of these blades? It's the same thing. These are same type of I believe it's the same type of steel. The steel is soft below the edge of the cutting edge. The edge is hardened, I believe, on these particular steel rule materials. But this too is it's quite similar and quite useful. Here's what you can do with a blade that has broken. You can see what I do is I take all my blades from my bandsaw that I have that are worn out or broken. Most of the time they break before the tool has had its full use of the tool, and many times, you know, the edges or the teeth are quite sharp. But once the blade breaks, unless you're able to weld that again, you've got to have a special welding equipment to do this right. I mean, I tried with a welding, just a portable welder, and it's hard. So what I do instead is I repurpose these. I cut these, you know, to whatever length I need. I can even just leave it the full length of the blade. I think 54 1/4 inches or 54 1/8 is the size of the bandsaw that I use. But like I said, you can recycle these or repurpose them. What you're going to need is you're going to need to shave off this edge. You can use it as is and create a die like this by bending it. You can bend this even by just in a vise or 2-ton press or 1-ton press. You know, you can even use a sheet metal pliers, you know, to bend this, and you can create just a simple, you know, shape like this. You can 3D print a block, you know, with a proper slot that you can slot this, that you can press this into the slot like I've done here. These are slotted to 1/32 of an inch, which gives me a nice snug fit for this particular steel rule. This is about the same thickness, so that'll work too. And basically you can create your own dies, you know, very inexpensive. You're repurposing the material, you're not throwing away, you're saving you know, you're saving in terms of contamination to the environment. There's so many pros. The other thing you can do with this is you can grind, flatten this on a either on a belt driven sander. You can shave, you know, continue to shave all the teeth, and then come back and put it on a grinding wheel and create a bevel edge here to create the blade, you know, the cutting blade, and you can use that way also. But the beauty about this particular bandsaw blades is that you can bend this, provided that you know, you don't bend it and unbend it and bend it again, because then it'll crease the material and it'll crack. But I've been able to bend this. You can see how this is bent with a 1/8 inch. I believe I did this with a 1/8 inch diameter pin, around a 1 inch diameter pin. You can do this in various ways. You can make yourself a little block with the pins, you know, spaced out at 1/32. You can just bend it that way, you know, manually. Beauty about this, you can also bend it manually. I created all these tools that I showed in some other video to bend this type of material, which requires a lot more force. And so you're not doing this. This video is how to do kind of similar with this material, a lot easier to bend, and you can create some really nice, they're going to be shallow dies. This is designed for a machine that I have. It's called a Mark IV. It's a roller type press that does die cutting using these types of dies, you know, the more industrial dies. These are my own. I did back in the day. I used to have these dies manufactured for me. They were running anywhere $200 on up, for a simple die like that. So I decided to make my own, because it's not really that hard when you understand the process and you understand the equipment that you need. But with something like this, I mean, it's basically a really simple process if you're willing to take the time to redo the edges. I mean, this will work with this serrated thing if you just need something serrated and just kind of peel off the, if you're doing cardboard or cardstock, you can do this. I've done a lot of these also for the seats that I make for my RC Ultra lights, micro lights. I've done fins, for my aircraft, using the same process. The MIA 1.25 or 1.0 auto gyros, they use the fins. I've done the stuff for my airplanes, the stabilizers with this material, with these types of dies. These right here, because they have a little more power to them. But this will also work provided that you're careful in establishing a nice even parallel edge, and you grind that surface also nice and even. You can make a jig to grind that evenly, using a grinder or using a bench grinding wheel, just a jig, so you can do that nice and even. I mean, there's so many ways to do that, but the purpose of this video was just to show you what you can achieve with these bandsaw blades, and to try to see if I can talk you into not disposing these blades here. You can reuse them as I've done here. You can make some really cool dies. Some machines that are more for hobby use, like what Michael's would sell, or even Joanne Fabrics used to sell that. I don't know if they're still around, but these little Cricut. They're not Cricut machines, because the Cricut is almost like a CNC cutter, vinyl cutter, but they have these manual, same thing, roll presses, little smaller ones, smaller than the one that I have. I have a Mark IV, I think, or Mark V. It's called by the company that makes it. It's a more industrial, high-end machine that I use for these guys here. But you can do this, you can even do this on a bench press, just a small press, as I've done, something similar to these, to cut out windows on my radio control helicopters. After I got done molding, vacuum forming the canopies, I developed all these little tools to cut the windows. I would do it before I started doing that just with the CNC machine, programming the CNC machine to do all the cuts, do the profile cut on the vacuum form part, and also the punch out the windows and drill holes and all those details. But for some things that were kind of hard to do it on the CNC machine, I developed my own tools, to cut windows and patterns, to cut out the canopy. And just to give you an idea, this is what I'm talking about. This was done with a die cut, on a bench press. I used to make these little canopies for the micro helicopters before. Some people may recognize a lot of the stuff here that used to be in the micro helicopter hobby. And just to, here's another gizmo. This is kind of one that I was assembling, kind of trying to make it into one, kind of cutting and pasting things. But this is all done with a press. Look how clean that comes out when you do a die. That I would just attach it to the 2-ton press and press those things, and it would go really quick. So, but you can use this stuff right here, like I was just explaining. Mario, once again, if you use this, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Give me a little credit, because this does take a little time, and what I'm showing here, I don't think anybody has shown before. Mario, once again, thanks for watching.